So what we need to do is, whatever our life is going, if we just add Krishna to it, and if we remember Krishna, we are already living a spiritual life. There is no different life as such. I keep telling in my classes that when you do yoga, difference between the yoga and exercises. Exercise, you just put your hands up and down. But when you do yoga, with your lifting up your hand, and you also do your breathing exercise. You breathe in and you breathe out when the hands go up and the hands go down. But if you don't do breathing exercise, it's not yoga, it is exercise. So similarly, we can continue with whatever activities we're doing, but the breathing has to continue. That means remembrance of Krishna has to continue. So,
a little bit more front so that others can come.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can find out the
good Katha.
Am I speaking fast? No. Okay. So I wouldn't realize it then. Yeah, so what I was saying, I was breathing. I'm sorry. No, actually I know what I was saying. I just want to know if you're hearing. Okay, so I was talking about breathing. So we just have to add Krishna, and it's not that difficult to add Krishna. The only problem is, for adding we require space, and as of now we don't have space in our mind to add Krishna, right? Just like when we were in school in class 10, we had this experiment, I think everybody does that. You take a beaker, put a water, take 1 spoon of salt, then 2 spoons of salt, and after some time you can't add salt anymore. Then the teachers teach you that's called saturation point, and after that you can't add anything. The problem is, adding Krishna is not difficult, but we have added other things so much in our life that there is no space for Krishna. Yes. Yes, Vipin. So we have added so many things in our life, and then there is no space for Krishna, and we feel we are not able to remember Krishna. But if it's overcrowded here, then how will we remember Krishna? So I always give this example that, when we go to Mayapur, how many of you have been to Mayapur? So when I've been to Mayapur, especially if you have taken prasadam in Gada Bhavan, so when you take prasadam, after you eat everything and your plate is completely clean, only then they come with kheer or they'll come with mango chutney. So as a young girl, when I used to go to Mayapur, I used to think, why they have to give it at the end? Why can't they give? Because that's the favorite part of it. You have to clean your whole plate and they give it. And I realize now that if they give it in between, you can't relish it because it will get mixed with your dal and rice. But if the plate is clean, then it tastes nice. So same thing happens with our mind is crowded with so many things that we are not able to, Krishna is there, but we are not able to even experience him because there's so much overcrowded here. So balancing spiritual material, just one thing, it's nothing about balance, it's just about cleaning up the mind. If we clean up our mind, then Krishna is already there and we can experience him, we can hear him, we can have a relationship with him. We just have to clean up our minds. And why is the mind not clean? Because we are so busy with petty things, small little things, and we make a big issue about it. Give you an example. In a forest, who is the king of forest? Lion. So once there was a fight between a tiger and a donkey. Why was the fight about? The tiger and the donkey? The donkey said that the grass is blue, and the tiger said that the grass is green, and both of them had argument for 15 days. And finally they said, why are we arguing? Let's just go and speak to the king of the forest. So they went to the lion. And then the donkey said, folding his hands, my dear sir, this tiger is giving me a lot of trouble, mental trouble. I've been trying to explain him last 15 days that the grass is blue, but he keeps arguing that the grass is green. So please give some judgment. So immediately the lion said, okay, so I ban or I censor this tiger for 15 days. He can't talk to anybody. And there ends the matter. So he gave his judgment. Everybody was very happy. The donkey was jumping with joy. And the tiger was banned. He can't speak with anybody for 15 days. At the end of the 15th day, after his ban, the censorship was over, he went to lion. He said, sir, you are the king and you are free to give any judgment. But I just have this question in my heart. Is the grass blue? The lion said, no, the grass is green. But then you punished me and you didn't punish the donkey. He said, no, I didn't punish you because you said the grass is green. I punished you for that. How can you be so stupid to waste your 15 days arguing with the donkey? That is why I gave you the punishment. If the donkey said the grass is blue, just say grass is blue. Who cares what the donkey says? So you're not worth being a tiger. How could you? I guess that's how our lives are. We're so busy, sorry to use this word, convincing donkeys in our life. We don't have to. Every battle is not worth fighting. If we keep fighting every battle, we lose the war with Maya. We are wasting our time. So every small thing should not be made into a big issue. And if these little changes we bring about in our life, the mind will be so free and it will have so much clarity. And then we can actually experience Krishna. So this is one, small little tip is not to try and prove anybody that we are right. Let the world think what they think, It's not required to prove to everybody. I was hearing some time back in class by His Holiness Loknath Swami Maharaj, and he said something very nice. He said, all the grihasthas should have this principle in their life. He said, K-I-S-S, kiss. When he said that, I felt like, because he's a sannyasi, what is he trying to say? K-I-S-S, he repeated. And then he said, keep it simple, stupid. He said, keep it simple, stupid. That's what he said. Don't make a big thing about it, we are into this grihastha life, yes, fine, but let's keep it simple. This is not the end of all, it's just something passing, There's so many things that we have to achieve. Yes, there are certain things which we need to work on it, but we shouldn't think of it. We should have a bigger picture in life, and we should not, like I keep saying, the biggest challenge is to keep the biggest challenge as the biggest challenge. Have you heard this before? The biggest challenge is to go back home, back to Godhead. And our biggest challenge is to keep that biggest challenge as the biggest challenge. Because we have so many other small challenges. And because of that, we are wasting time. So what we are doing is, going back to Godhead is a $5 million game. But we are very busy with the I shouldn't use dollars here, pound. And we are busy with the 5 pound note. Imagine somebody tells us that, can you come to my house by 9 o'clock and I want to give you 5 million pounds. And you are on your way in the car to get those 5 million pounds. But on the way, while you are driving, a 5 pound note is just flying away. And if you get too busy to get that note, it's waste of the time, because even if you lose it, you're going to get something so big. But then we get busy either with that, or we get busy with if you have lost a 5 pound note. So we are missing on the 5 million pound game. So going back home, back to God, it is 5 million pound game. But we are so busy with our 5 pound, little things in our lives. So yeah, if we educate and sufficiently empower our intelligence by regular association and regular chanting and hearing, so that we remind ourselves that there is a bigger challenge in our life. We have to go back home, back to God. This is all a temporary phase, it's all a passing phase. And the fact that whatever we think today is so important, after some time it's not going to be that important also, and we're going to laugh about it. And I always give this example. When I was a young girl, my brother went to Germany for the first time. Somebody from our family gone out of India, and from Germany he bought an eraser for me, an eraser. And I was in class 6 or 7. That eraser was so special for me because he brought it from Germany. I showed it to my friends, and I always thought for the rest of my life I never part with that eraser. In fact, I never used it for erasing. I just used it for showing to people. I used Nataraj eraser for other things because I thought, how can I use it? It was so special, and nobody can take it. It's always in my compass box. But believe me, today I don't know where is that eraser, and it's not important for me anymore. And it's gone. It's just a passing phase. For some time you get so attached to something and you think that's the most important part of your life. But just after some time you understand it was not that important actually. So this is just about eraser, but it's also about life. Sometimes in certain relationships, certain situations, certain things, we become so serious as if this is not going to happen, everything else is waste. But if we always keep the bigger picture in mind, and if we always understand that this is a passing phase, and if we tolerate situations, yesterday at the Leicester Temple, I gave a class on Brahma's prayer, and Brahma's prayer, there is this one very beautiful verse, which is my favorite verse, and I keep quoting it in my classes. Tatte nukampa susamikshamanu punjana evatmakritam vipakam hiridva vapobhe vidadan namaste jiveti yomukti pade sadaiva. Brahma says, if somebody, tatte nukampa susamikshamanu, if somebody just tolerates, no matter what situation happens in life, and he doesn't complain, he doesn't say, Lord, this is because of you. He says or he thinks, oh, this is because of my previous karma. He just tolerates. And it's not that while he's tolerating, he just whiles away his time or he wastes his time. No. Hrit vak vapu bhir. With his heart, with his body, mind, words, he serves the Lord. So he's serving the Lord. He's grateful to the Lord. He's not complaining. He's tolerant. And he's waiting upon the Lord. My Lord, I'm tolerating it, and I'm eagerly waiting that you will shower your mercy and protection on me. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for your mercy. If somebody has this kind of attitude, then what happens? Jiveti yomukti pade sadaiva. Brahma says that kind of person, immediately when he leaves his body, without any much endeavor, he goes back home, back to Godhead, for sure. And in that purport, Sridhar Swami commentary, it says that just like a legitimate son of a father, after the father dies, the property comes to him automatically. He doesn't have to go and register anywhere or his name. Similarly, one who lives his life like this, at the end of life, he goes back home, back to God. There is nothing to be said about it. So one has to tolerate, because not all situations can be mitigated. Not from all situations can we migrate. Some situations has to be endured. Some situations has to be tolerated. We can't escape. So if we tolerate and if we are patient, in fact these are the qualities that Krishna has spoken about in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Yoga, 12th chapter, from verse number 13 to 20, where he mentions all these qualities. He's expecting from his devotee, priya devotee. Says anapeksha, suchirdaksha, udasino, gathavitha, sarvarambha, parityagi, yomad bhakta, same priya. He should have no apeksha, and he should be tolerant, he should be patient, sama, dukkha, sukha. And then he says, adveshta, non-envious, sarvabhutana, maitra, karuna evacha, nirmama, nirahankara, sama, sukha, dukkha, shami, santushta, satatam, yogi, yatatmam, jadanischaya, mayyarpita manobuddhi, yomad bhakta samipaya. He should not be envious, he should be tolerant, he should be maitri, equal to everybody. Nirahankara, no false ego. Nirmama, no proprietorship. Shami, he should be able to forgive. So if all these qualities, he says around 35 qualities, if these 35 qualities are present in a person, then Krishna says that person is my favorite devotee, my priya devotee. So we have so much to do. Krishna has already given us the list. We'll have to paste it somewhere on our kitchen tiles and walls and see where are we in like a checklist, are we able to get those qualities in us. So forgiving, forgetting, having patience, being tolerant, and being conscious of our being conscious of our present situation. And I'm reminded of this story. There was this one man, he goes to Sant Ekanath. Ekanath is very famous in Maharashtra. So he goes to Sant Ekanath and he says, I don't know how you're able to be so saintly. I get distracted and I feel to commit sinful activities and I'm unable to control my senses. I don't know how you do it. So Sant Ekanath replied saying that, forget about what question you are asking me. Let me tell you something more important. What I understand when I see your face, you will die in 7 days. So you better make preparations for that. About this we'll talk later on. This person got shocked. I just have 7 more days to live. Because if a sadhu in India says this, means it's serious, pretty serious, you know. Maybe he has read his lines or something. So he got very serious. He went back home, he told his wife, I'm going to die in 7 days. Sant Ekanath has told this. So he started making all kinds of preparations. So the first day passed, and the second day passed, and the third day passed, and the 5th day, Sant Ekanath came to visit him. And then he received the sadhu nicely and had feet washed and all. And then Sant Ekanath asked, so how's life going on? Oh, I'm super busy because I'm going to die now another 2 days. So I'm very busy. So he said, no, I'm not talking about that. So you asked me, right, the other day, the question that you are unable to stop committing sinful activities. So how many sinful activities you committed in the last 5 days? And I said, come on, Swamiji, what I'll commit? I'm so busy and I'm going to die any moment. I don't even have time to think all that, you know. So then he said, oh, well, I'm sorry, you're not going to die. I just wanted to give you an experience that, you know, if you know that deadline that I'm going to die, then there is no such urge that I want to commit sinful activities because you know you're dying. The fact that there is actually a dragger here all the time. The sad part is it's not visible. It's not visible. So we think there's a lot of time. But if we actually had a hanging dragger with us all the time and it's coming closer and closer, things would have been so different. In fact, when I talk about this, I'm reminded of another story. In my college life, I had read one book, you know, I don't remember the title very nicely now, but you know, When the World Collides. It's a fiction book. It's a fiction book about what is, the scientists, you know, they announced suddenly that there is another planet which is coming very close to Earth and it's going to clash with Earth and everybody's going to die within 2 months. So people were shocked, and lo and behold, they actually could see it in the sky, a red color ball, big one, coming closer and closer. So they just had 2 months and they were all going to die. So suddenly everybody's behavior changed because they said, now we are going to die. So all those who had taken a divorce, you know, they just came back. Anyway, we are going to die, let's live together for 12 months, you know. And the children who had left their parents back home, you know, the NRIs, they came back to India, you know, better we stay sometime with the parents, anyway we are going to die. And the people who had taken loans, you know, they said, what will we do? You don't have to return your loan. Anyway, we are dying in 2 months, keep the money. And the restaurants, they started putting up, you know, come and have free food. Anyway, everybody's going to die. So what will we do with so much grocery? And then they left all the prisoners from the jail. And anyway, everybody's going to die. Just go home and spend time with your family. And the whole world became such a loving place. Everybody was just loving each other. That's it. They just want to love each other because they hardly have any time. And it became such a wonderful place and everything was looking like Ramarajya. But then lo and behold, after 10-15 days, the globe started going far and the scientists said, sorry, it is cancelled. We are not going to crash. That's it. There ends the matter. Oh, everybody's like, give back my money. Everything went off into a different direction. So when they were conscious that we have little time to live, then every equation was so different. But the fact the equation changes is because we think we're going to live here permanently. But if we are conscious about it, that we are not going to live here permanently, things will be completely different. That happens sometimes with those patients. If they know they have cancer, 3rd stage, 4th stage, right? Completely their attitude towards life and people will change. But we are not able to change because somewhere deep in our heart we think I'm permanent and I have a lot of time in my hand. So, I mean, if these are the small little things, if we are conscious of these things, that actually, I think somebody was telling me, I don't know if you're recording it, but I'm not sure, but I think somebody said somewhere, if I'm getting the number wrong, that Prabhupada mentioned 8,000 times in his lectures, and not this, we are not this body, we are soul. So somebody may think, why has to mention so many times? But the fact is that one line, if we are convinced, the whole spiritual life is going to be wonderful, but we are not convinced of that one line. So he keeps reminding us we are not this body, we are soul. So we just have to see everything in a bigger picture. Because over a period of time we forget. The other day only I was hearing from some devotee, I forgot his name, a brahmachari from Chupati. He said something very nice. He was saying that Rajagopalachari, who wrote the commentary on Bhagavad Gita, which was very famous during Srila Prabhupada's time, and he had met Prabhupada, and when he met Prabhupada, he was in his 90s, 90-year-old, and when Prabhupada and they both had discussion, so at that time he said something very nice. He told Prabhupada that actually ISKCON is doing wonderful, and you have such dedicated people who are working so hard for ISKCON. But Swamiji, what I'm afraid is, ISKCON is growing very fast, and if the followers start giving so much importance to the expansion of the movement, and they forget for what they have come to Krishna consciousness, if they forget Krishna, then everything is going to be a mess, and whatever vrittis, the mindset or the materialistic attitude that they left to join the movement, they will bring that into the movement, and then you will create a material world inside the spiritual world. You got my point? But like, what we are trying to do in ISKCON is make a spiritual world inside this material world. But if we are not able to leave these conditioning, then what we'll end up doing is making a material world inside the spiritual world created by Srila Prabhupada, because of our tendencies of not forgiving, not able to tolerate, not being patient, being envious of other devotees, misunderstandings, right? All this will cause such, it'll create another world inside. So yeah, these are the, when we talk about these things, it seems like very foundational, basic things, but if the basis is not strong, no matter how beautiful the building is with all the chandeliers, a little storm or a hurricane and the whole building will collapse. But if the foundation is strong, it will stay. And I'm reminded of this very famous American basketball coach. I think it was in the 1960s. His name was John Wooden. And when he used to coach people, basketball players, he used to coach like the good ones, who play international. The first thing, for 3 days, he used to tell them is, wear socks properly. And sometimes they used to get upset. What do you mean? I mean, I've been won so many, so many times, and you're asking us to, wear the socks properly. So for 3 days, he used to give training only how to wear your socks properly. And he said, because that's a basic thing, but if you don't wear your socks properly, then, you have those, what you call, shoe bites, and so many things will happen. So sometimes, this may seem like so basic foundation, but if our basic foundational thinking is not right, we may read Madhurya Kadambini, or we may read Jiva Goswami Sandarbhas, we may do so many things, but if the basic is not right, everything will just remain on the intellectual level. And what will happen is that it will remain as an information, but not experience. And experience is so different from information. We can collect so much information and we can read so many things, but if we want to experience Krishna, we need to have these qualities which Krishna has asked in the Bhagavad Gita and Chaitanya Charitamrita, the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava, Kripalu, Akrita, Droha, Sarva, Krishna Ekasmarana, yeah, so many, Vijita, Sadguna, so many qualities are given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also. So yeah, one has to be tolerant, one has to be patient, and one has to be grateful. So important. Grateful, grateful, grateful for whatever Krishna has given us. In the 1960s, there was this one Wimbledon player called Arthur Ashe, and he had won the Wimbledon Cup. And then in the 1990, he was detected to have HIV. So those days there was not much cure, and HIV was like the taboo. People were like, so the press reporters, they did an interview with him, and they asked him, sir, how are you feeling? What do you want to say about this? Because you got this disease, HIV, I mean, is not God unfair to you? And he replied so wonderfully. He said, thousands and lakhs of people around the world, they buy even the badminton for playing. Out of the thousands and lakhs, maybe few thousands continue playing it. Usually what happens, we buy something for 10 days, after that it's in the storeroom. We buy I've seen in India also, they buy this walker. Now in India it's become the latest trend, everybody buys this walker, and after 1 month they dry the clothes on that. Nobody walks anymore. So, so how many people will continue playing that? And out of that, how many, maybe some 100 people may actually take coaching, and out of that, how many people will get selected on a district level, and out of that, how many people may get selected on a national level, and out of that, how many people do you think can get selected on an international level, and out of that, how many people do you think have a chance to win a Wimbledon trophy? Maybe you can just count them on your fingers. And I was that one person who got this Wimbledon cup. So when out of this millions of people, when when the God selected me, I never asked God, why me? Why not this person? And now when I have this HIV, why should I ask God, why me? Because when I got things, I never asked God, why me? But if and that's our nature. And Lord is so nice to us. We never ask Him why. Just like our ISKCON Sunday Feast Prasadam, back in India, we have this buffet system after the Sunday Feast. And usually the classes go on long, and people are waiting for the long classes to close, Sometimes it also happens at the end of the class when you ask the audience, any questions? And the question will be, when will the class end? So after all that, and they're like, in a rush to go back home, and they're standing in the buffet, and the devotee who's giving prasadam, if he has already kept a plate for himself, he will give very generously. Otherwise, while giving those favorite items, he's thinking 50 more, and there's just little left, So if you see the mentality of the people, when they're putting everything in good quantity, they don't even bother to see the face of the person who's serving. They're just looking at the plate and they got everything right, they're happy. But if they see that the sweet rice is given a little less quantity, they immediately look at the face of the devotee. Who is that? Distributing. Why is he distributing 1 spoon of sweet rice? He's supposed to give a little more. But that's our mentality. We get everything, we don't look who is giving it. We don't get, we immediately look up. Right? Krishna gives us so much. We never look up. Hey, why are you giving me so much? But if he doesn't give one thing, then we start. I've been chanting 16 rounds for the last 8 years. If at all you have forgotten. Last 8 years, 16 rounds, Ekadashi, no tea, no coffee, everything I'm following. So what's up with you, Why aren't you helping me out, So that's how our mentality is. A little thing we don't get and we have complaint, but we are not grateful of already so many things that we are getting, right? So this little things that we can be grateful to Krishna. We can keep focus and not waste our time on unnecessary things. And association of devotees, that's very important. The more we associate with devotees, we get that encouragement in Krishna consciousness. We'll be grateful, we'll be tolerant. I want to say so many things, but I also want to take questions, because when you ask, and then there's some churning happens and some new things will come up. Because I can keep speaking, but at this point I can pause, take some questions, and then again continue. And of course, Prabhu will also speak. Prabhu will speak at last. It seems he says ask questions. So I'll end it. I'll pause it here, not end it here. I'll pause it here for some questions, and then I'll again continue. If you have any questions. Yes.
Mataji, I am a doctor. I'm a surgeon, so it's like. Hari Krishna. Mataji, I'm a surgeon, and I work in India. I was here for some time. I'm actually going back on Monday. So there in India the job is very intense, like there are no shifts or working hours. You just have to look at the patients under your care. So sometimes it can be that you're on call and you go on continuously. When I was back in India, I was firstly not so serious about Krishna consciousness, but that time I used to chant at least 4 rounds. I used to find it difficult. So any tips for finding time even for your sadhana in a job that is actually very intense and busy. Because now here I'm able to do, but here I had like limited working hours. But I go back, so I'm scared about being able to maintain my Krishna consciousness.
I remember many years ago, I don't know who he was, but when devotee was saying something very interesting. He said in the Western world the problem is Mahapap, and in India the problem is Mabap. Because here there's so many things that distract you, but in India it's Mahapap. They will say, come for this party, come for this program, come for this, So yeah, and even workspace in India is pretty exploitative. They don't stick to 9-5. If you're working for somebody, they'll squeeze you out even after 5. But yeah, all said and done, like I was giving you the example of yoga with breathing and all. So yeah, even in you can keep a counting machine for chanting, and you can keep Prabhupada tape, and like we in our room back in Vizag, we have Prabhupada's Hare Krishna Mahamantra tape, and I have 4 or 5 dabbas of that because we don't close it even for a minute. 24 hours it keeps on going, Prabhupada's chanting in our room. Because if we keep it on for 24 hours, it gets spoiled. So after 1 month, we throw it and we keep another one. Because it hardly costs 450 rupees. And for that 24 hours, Harinam is getting in the ears. So like that, small little things you can make changes. Like in your workspace, you can put it, or you can just, put it in yours, and you can put your counting machine. You can put Krishna's picture where we're working. You put a Krishna picture in your cell phone. And you can, when you go back home, while you are in shower, like, His Holiness Taman Krishna Goswami Maharaj had this habit, he always hearing Prabhupada's even when he's taking bath. So as soon as he gets up and those days he used to put it on and then go for a bath. So while bathing also he's hearing Prabhupada's class. So while you are in shower, actually there is a lot of time. If you very keenly put your schedule, right, morning when you get up and then you do your brush and the other things we use the restroom for, it must be at least half an hour to 45 minutes. So that half an hour, 45 minutes you can hear Prabhupada class or whatever class you want to hear. So there your hearing is over. And I'm sure you will drive to your workspace, and there you have again some more time. And then again, during lunch hours or something. So like that, your hearing can happen, and chanting can happen with counting machine. So yeah, hearing and chanting is over, and weekends you have association, and then you're also associating with Krishna to Prasadam. So Krishna's association is not only chanting and hearing, right? Krishna's association in so many ways. The fact that you'll be eating only Prasadam, so you can do that. Offer it strictly Krishna's Prasadam, and we get Krishna when we give Krishna. So even like the patients or whoever you are dealing with, in some or the other subtle way. I don't know if you know this, in one of my classes I was telling you about this pastime of Guru Maharaj in Atlanta. Does somebody remember? Guru Maharaj was talking with one of the disciples of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, who is a neurologist in Atlanta, and he was telling that I deal with Christian origin people more, so how can I preach to them about Krishna? And Guru Maharaj said, because he's a neurologist, usually he just checks people, their limbs and all. So Guru Maharaj said that you should, because they have to check their, what we call that, physiology, how they move their limbs. So Guru Maharaj said, while checking them, you tell them that, knee, thigh, knee, my, right? So he was like, thigh, so it's like, knee, thigh, knee, my, knee. This is knee, right? This is a knee. This is, whose knee this is? My knee, right? So knee, my. Knee, thigh, knee, my. So he said, you make them do, and this is nothing spiritual. You're just making them do, just check if everything is working properly. And you make them do like that, knee, my, knee, thigh, knee, my. And that devotee got, my God, Jayapataka Maharaj, everything he can convert it into preaching. Like, imagine like somebody who in the ICU also can make the nurse chant, and when the doctor comes to see him, before the doctor asks him, how are you? He asks the doctor, so how are you? You can chant Hare Krishna. So he gives the counting machines to them. So, imagine. So, yeah, when he can do it, why can't we do it? We can do it also. It's just that we have to consciously put an effort and think about it, how we can add Krishna to our life. In fact, somebody asked this question in Vizag to Guru Maharaj, one who works in steel plant. Where is our steel plant boy? Somebody from steel plant was here. We have another devotee from steel plant, and he asked this question, and Guru Maharaj said, You can give gifts to your colleagues, Krishna conscious gifts to your colleague. See, actually people think that preaching is such a noble service that we are doing to people, but actually when we preach, what we are simply doing is benefiting ourselves. Because if we preach, then people around us are devotees, and if they become devotees, then they will be like our watchdogs, and they will make sure that we don't do anything wrong. We will not be tempted, because now we have taught them what is correct, what is wrong, and they will get back to us. Something like I'm reminded, Prabhupada in the olden times in Mayapur, that hut of Prabhupada's Harinam Sankirtan hut, somebody bought gulab jamuns, and Prabhupada took the gulab jamuns from the glass and he started distributing. So one devotee, he thought he's very smart, so he told Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, you have forgotten to offer it. You have forgot to offer this gulab jamuns. And Prabhupada's, the only reply Prabhupada said was, I don't think you need gulab jamun. Okay, next. That's what he did. Now imagine what an audacity. He doesn't have to remind Prabhupada that you have not offered it. Prabhupada's carrying Krishna. How do we know? Maybe he's just, he has offered it to Krishna. So like that, when we create a devotee community, yeah, we will have devotees who will remind us, hey, you said that you have to offer food, why you didn't offer? So it will help us, So even your colleagues back in Bombay or wherever you are going, just try to make them devotees and give them Prabhupada books and all. In fact, you are in such a wonderful position. Doctor means people have so much respect. Doctor and teacher, right? These two people have so much respect. You command so much respect, I think, you are a consultant doctor or something, where you prescribe, Yeah, so you have such a good opportunity, you can tell them, you should actually read. I think you have for you to please cool down your mind, and you can do this mantra, it will help you, so you can do that, Yeah.
See, my doctor who treats me is above 80 years old. And because of construction, we have a lot of anxiety, stress, so many things. So then I discuss such a way. Then ultimately he said, Prabhuji, you are devotee, you are chanting. So when I said, Prabhuji, you also, and I gave the beads, I gave some Gita. I said, oh, you are speaking so nicely. Why don't you take this Gita and distribute to your patients? So because he's telling to take the Gita, everybody taking it. So it's a way, like he's telling, you can use your talent for service.
Anybody else has any request?
I have a question to you all. Do you think it is easy to go back to Godhead? Yes? No, right? She said no. Can I get answer? It's easy, yes or no?
If we have faith, then we can.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Or no? Yes, there's so many no's. So actually it is difficult to go. But Srimad Bhagavatam is telling, and this question is coming to Chaitanya Charitamrita, that is very easy to go. Sulabham, Sudurlabham. It's very easy, but the Sudurlabham is very difficult, both. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoting this sloka, how Guru Karna Dharam, by taking shelter of Guru. Like ISKCON here is spreading because Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted that United Kingdom, that's UK, that's England, that should teach. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, he tried. Srila Prabhupada wanted. He sent some devotee from New York, and they could do that much. 3 couple, and they became famous. They did. So it's like this. Bhagavatam is telling that we are like a small boat. No way we can cross over big ocean. But Guru is a very big boat. Srila Prabhupada, he could do something. Like we know that story that somebody went to Srila Prabhupada's horoscope. He said he has created a world, he's going to create a world where whole world can live peacefully. So Srila Prabhupada's aura is such a strong that he can take anybody back to Godhead. So how it's going to work? It's like he's a big ship and we are like a small boat. He can go, but we cannot go. But if we tie our small boat with Srila Prabhupada sip, then it's possible. It goes automatically. So what we need to connect is that to our small spiritual boat with Srila Prabhupada's ship. So if we remember, and Sanatana Goswami asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that how that devotion begins. He said, association of the devotees, like we are together. If we together chant, if we all in the name of the Lord practice, then it's easier. And Krishna is telling very clearly that in Gita 9th chapter, by Sushukham Kartubra, this is a king of knowledge, the best knowledge. But we can perform very sweetly Sushukham with the association of devotees. Then Krishna is also telling in Gita 3 times we should have to have Guru. So Guru is very compulsory. If in Gita Acharya Upasana told 3 times that we have to have Guru. So telling 3 times means certainly we need Guru. So if we have that, it's possible. And staying with the devotees, that itself will take us back to God. Like you were saying, somehow or other, if you stay with the devotees and all. That's why the last principle Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Sanatana Goswami, just Bhakta Sangha. That is the biggest thing, and only thing. And I just want to mention one story. It's always you all are having a lot of activities and all. There was one Brahmin in Kashi. He had no children. And he was praying to Lord Shiva that I'm getting old, I'm old man, I want one son. He was praying and praying and praying. Finally Lord Shiva came. He said, you will have a son, but if you want to have a son who will live longer time, he will be very notorious. He will spoil your name. But if you want to have a son who will be nice, then he will live only 5 years. But he will be very sweet to you. Which one you want? So after thinking long time, the Brahmin thought that if my son will be such a nuisance, so why to have a long duration? Better to have a son who will live even 5 years. At least 5 years I will be happy. So when he was blessed, he got a son. And when 4 years over, he went to different devotees, sadhus. So he went to his guru that what should I do? Now my son is going to die after 1 year. I got so much happiness by having a son. Now I'll be really unhappy if my son dies. Then the guru says, what you can do? Simple. You are Brahmi, you're doing already all those things, what you can do? He said, if this child pay obeisances to the pure devotee, then his all this sinful life will go away, he may live longer time. Then again that Brahman asked that how to know who is pure, who is sadhu. He said, do one thing, you pay obeisances to everybody. So from next day onwards, father and son, they started paying obeisances to everybody. Or in Kashi, all the sadhu devotees, Vaishnavas, they are paying obeisances. So they got, after 1 year, just maybe 10 days is there. At that time, Saptarishi appeared in front of Brahmin house. He said, Ayushman Bhava, Degai Bhava, Chiranjeevi Bhava. So Brahmin, they pay obeisances, all pay obeisances. Did all this Atithi Satkar, including them, giving some prasadam. Then Brahmin asked that you told very sweet word that Chiranjeevi Bhava, Ayushman Bhava. But we got curse that we got my son having this much lifetime. Now he's going to live only 10 days. So what to do? He said, who gave you? Then Saptarishi thought actually the creator of this universe is Brahma. So let us go to Brahma. So Saptarishi, they took this Brahman and son to Brahma. So when Saptarishi went, Saptarishi also prayed to Brahma nicely. So Brahma also said same thing. Ayushman Bhava, Chiranjeevi Bhava, they got. Now Saptarishi thought, now our work is over. So the headache is with the Brahma. So then Saptarshi says, actually you bless so nicely, but this boy is going to die within few days. Within few days? Why? Who told like this? He said, Lord Shiva gave blessings. And he said, then let's go to Lord Shiva. So Saptarshi, Brahma, Brahman and son all went to Lord Shiva, Kailas. And then when Brahma is a father, so when he went, all paid respect. Brahma, Lord Shiva also offer respect to them. Then Lord Shiva also told to Saptarshi, these Brahmins, Ayushman Bhava, Chiranjeevi Bhava, the Brahma, that now my work is over, now Shiva has to take care. Then Brahma told this, that actually this child supposed to die within few days. And he said, then who has given this type of situation? He's going to die. How you know for sure he's going to die? He said, you who have told? He said, then you all go, you leave this child with me, I'll take care. And when this death personified Kala came, after a few days, then Lord Shiva asked that, who are you? No, we have to take this child. He's supposed to die. He said, at that time, that was long before, 5 years before he's supposed to die. Why not you calculate now what is the situation? Then they again recalculated. And they said, this boy is now Chiranjeevi. Can you believe? And that is the child is Markandeya Muni. He was blessed. And Shiva Puran says, because he paid obeisance to the Sadhus, Vaishnavas. That's the only qualification he had. And he could see Lord Krishna. He wanted to see how this devastation take place. He could see that way. So power of prayers, power of yoga, even somebody doesn't know. Like we go sometime to Halidham, Vrindavan, Mayapur, and Srila Prabhupada could change. And those people who had no idea about India, about that culture, about that type of situation, very awkward situation. For American Europeans stay in Vrindavan, it's really difficult. But there's so much now, the thousands of devotees staying in Mayapur and Vrindavan. But because of that spiritual piety, what they got. And one is that faith on Guru. So there's two things. And that is the last instruction Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Sanatana Goswami. That have a faith and Shraddha and reading scripture, chanting holy name of the Lord, association of the devotees. That's the main principle. If we carry that, then things are very easy. Otherwise, it's difficult. But we should never lose either bad or good. As you mentioned, that sometimes maybe things situation is not good, sometimes very good. But still, we try to see that we associate with the devotees like-minded. Then it's easier. But like we give space for our worldly works. If we give space for our spirituality, it's possible. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made it very simple. Sayana is happening, either you are eating or sleeping or whatever. Either you are at home or you are going walking, whichever way. In the beginning stage, Navavahas, it's not possible to concentrate so much. But later on, it will be, Lord will bless. So in the beginning stage, let us keep on chanting, either knowingly or unknowingly. Like many they say, Prabhuji, Mala is difficult. So they take a clicker, somehow chant. So it's possible. So if we make it like that, and Lord is very kind, either you are, if somebody having spirituality, he keeps focusing genuinely, then Lord bless. Lord bless what is that? He was in the cave and Lord, he was sleeping. Lord came there. Manchukunda, right? John was back. The Lord gave darshan. So wherever you are, he is there for you. There is another story. Well, after killing this, the Jarasan, Krishna went to Mithila, and along with all those Muni rishis, they were also there. And he expanded to two forms, because Bahulasa king is a king of Janak. He was remembering Krishna that one day I will go and meet Krishna. But he's a king, so he was preparing. There was one devotee, Sutadev, he was a very poor Brahmin. He thought, if I go to Dwarka, who will recognize me? How I get a permission to go inside? How to go there? And who is going to take me? And even if I go there, how to go inside? But Krishna is so kind. He came. He expanded two sets of devotees. So one set went to Sutadev, and one set went to Bahulasa, king. And Lord Krishna person told Sutadev, Sutadev, not that because I am Lord, you treat everybody nicely. So Lord is so nice, the small devotee or big devotee is for everybody. Afterwards we may have a different, but Lord is for everyone. There's no discrimination. He's there. So if we take things seriously, then it's you. If we give little importance, and in spiritual life it goes always little ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. But still stick to the devotees on sab-seva. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati told, Srila Prabhupada told very nicely. Even Madhavacharya is telling, Ramanuja Swami, the seva is very important. Seva and chanting, both. Some seva we take, serving Vaishnavas, whatever small way, whatever we can do, that will be nice. Seva and chanting, both should take together. Any more questions you have?
There are a couple of questions on online.
I have one.
The first question is, why do I tear up and get emotional when I think of Krishna?
Why do I become emotional when I think of Krishna? Yeah, because that is our
Hare Krishna. Yes, because that's our constitutional position, to love him. Then when we talk about him and we think about him, then that original sentiments and emotions, because we were with him in Goloka Vrindavan, so it just gets, we just remember him again. That's why we feel to cry, we feel happy when we connect to him.
Why do you think that son have no emotion for the father? Having or no? Yes or no? He will have emotion. Child will have emotion for the father? Yes or no? Yes, right? So certainly will have it. Only thing is that when we don't know, we'll have no emotion. When we'll have no emotion. But when we know Lord, the connection. So that Krishna is telling him, son, Mami Bhangsho Juberagi, Yovati Sana, Aham Pitamaho Jagashat Mata Bhatapta. 2-3 times he is telling, I am a Supreme Father, I am Supreme Father. How many times? Many times he told in Gita. I am the Supreme Father. So certainly jivas are connected. And that's what Srila Prabhupada told. Actually it's very easy, very simple, because jiva belongs to the Lord. Somehow we should connect, then things will be easier.
The second question, I think it's in relation to something, I'm not sure, but it says it's something, is it something to do with separation consciousness? I'm not sure which.
I think both are correlated with each
Oh,
other.
okay.
Both are
the same
conscious.
Oh, yeah,
question.
yeah.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. It's very nice class. I have a Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji. It's a very nice class. And I have questions like how we will know like we are advancing, like progressing in our spiritual life. How we will measure it. I know we get the initiation and like first or second, but afterwards, how we feel like more we can go to more advanced, like what we can do more to do like deeper consciousness to build and raise the consciousness constantly.
You asked two questions in this. You said, how do we know that we are progressing? And second thing, you said, how do we progress? Right? The two things. How do we know that we have progressed? Are we complaining? Are we still complaining, why this, why me, why? Or we are not complaining. That's where we can gauge if we are progressing. Do we still want to change people, things, events, situations around us? Or we are able to accept them as it is? If we are able to accept them as it is, that means we are progressing. If we are not complaining, that means we are progressing. If we are grateful to Krishna, yes, that means we are progressing. If we are happy in Krishna consciousness, that means we are progressing. If we have nothing to do, then immediately our mind says, where is my mala bag? I want to chant few more rounds since I have nothing to do. That means we are progressing. So these are the symptoms. Even when we are alone and there is nobody around us, we are instinctively thinking, I want to play some class, I want to read something. When we are hankering for devotee association, that means we are progressing. When we see others, we are not envious, that means we are progressing. So these are certain things to know that yes, we are progressing. When we are progressing in Krishna consciousness, we accept things as they are. We don't want to change anything because we know Krishna is our well-wisher and whatever situation he has put in, that is what we deserve. And we are so grateful. Every moment we feel, do I really deserve this? I think Krishna is giving me more than I deserve. That's what we'll have, that every moment that feeling, I'm getting more than I deserve. And we'll be grateful not only for bigger things, or rather, we will not wait for extraordinary things to happen in our life to be grateful, but we'll be grateful to Krishna for even little things in our life. Every little thing you will feel so grateful. I mean, and that's how our life should be. You know, we should constantly thank Krishna for things like, yeah, today prasadam was very good. The soup, tomato soup was so nice, Krishna, thank you. So, yeah, so like thanking Krishna for every little thing that's happening in our life. And then second thing you said about how do we get, that was the second part of your question, how do we get more deeper in Krishna consciousness?
And stay there, like, you know, stay focused in that consciousness.
Stay stronger and longer. To stay stronger and longer, we'll have to have an, you know, make a situation around us like that. Like many times tell in my classes, if the ice cream has to stay like an ice cream, it has to be kept in the fridge. If you remove out from the fridge, it will melt. It needs that temperature to be in that state. Similarly, for a devotee to remain as a devotee, for stronger, he has to have that temperature around him. That means he has to have that right kind of association with what kind of people he is around, what kind of sadhana that you are undertaking. That will keep you stronger. If we shouldn't be giving to our lower instincts, and we have to. I'll give you one short example and I'll close it. There was this king who was asked by a doctor that don't take mangoes. If you take mango, you will die because you're allergic to mango. Mango is not good for you. You should not eat mango. He said, I will not eat mango. After some time, he went for hunting with his minister. And on the way, they lost the way back home. So they were taking shelter under a tree. And after 10 minutes, the minister said, Dear king, let's go away from here. So why? What happened? Well, you didn't realize we are sitting under a mango tree. And the king started laughing. Come on. The doctor said not to eat mango. He didn't say we can't sit under a mango tree. We can definitely sit under a mango tree. Don't worry, let's take rest. And after some time, a mango fell on the king's hand. And the king was looking at it. And the minister said, leave it, leave it. And the king said, come on. The doctor said not to eat the mango. He didn't say that you can't touch the mango, you can't see the mango. And after some time, the king brought the mango next to his, nose. And the minister said, "What are you trying to do?" "I'm just smelling it, whether it's a raw one or a juicy one. Because the doctor said that you can't eat mango, but you can smell it. And after some time, he actually, opened it. He was trying to put it in the mouth. And he said, "King, what are you doing?" He said, "Doctor said not to eat mango. I'm simply tasting it." And then you know what must have happened. So, that's how our lives are. If it is a chaturmas that you can't take curd, then we will think about 100 ways of, actually they said not to take curd, but if you take this inside the curd, that inside, then you can take the curd. So, we are so intelligent that more than following the rules, we're always, all the time thinking how to crack them, and how to find a way around, We're getting busy into that. So it's not about, it's like you can't say that if somebody takes a Brahman initiation or first initiation, that way you can measure how somebody has, developed in Krishna consciousness. But it's our internal consciousness, because there is one thing to identify as a devotee. There is one thing to act as a devotee, but there's something else when you have a mentality of a devotee. You are devotee all the time, not only during programs. Yeah.
See, Vishnu Puran is telling that we have to understand the blessings of the Lord. Then some extent we can convince our mind. Like you have come to this place. They were already blessed. Without his blessings, you cannot come to devotees association. So the devotees association, then you have a test. You like to chant. So that's also his blessings. Because this world is such, this Kali Yuga, usually people don't like. But if they have developed somehow liking, then he has some blessings. To get up in the morning, to chant, to read, that itself shows that this particular soul having blessings. And Krishna is also confirming in Gita, Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukriti anujana. The four type of people you all know. They worship me, those who have sukriti. So like you all have come. You have certain sukriti, otherwise you will not come. You will not like it. So you are blessed. Then this blessing we have to take it positive. So no, if I lose this opportunity, I don't know what will happen. The world is very dangerous because Maya is dragging towards bad things. So we have to hold. Basically, Chaitanya Maharaj said we have to hold the Bhakti Kripa, Bhakti Lata, and somehow association of the devotees. Then Gita is there, Bhagavad is there. Then we can worship the deities. And we should, that's why I'm saying again and again, we should not lose the, as she told, we should value everything. So many points she told, we should value. Like we value in our family life, we value. Every family is progressing, progressing. You all are progressing. So you value, okay, didn't have this, now I am having this. I did, now I am doing this. So, because you value, then we release. Those who doesn't value, actually sometimes these people, they commit suicide because they don't value. A few years back, one rich man, I don't know what to name, his son-in-law, the chief minister of Karnataka, he committed suicide. So much money, still he committed suicide. Why? Because some problem. Who doesn't have problem? Everybody having problem. So if you value, then that's why Krishna told Susukham Kartanam. Do it happily, joyfully, so that you don't stress yourself that, wow, this is too much for me. Value. And without his blessings, he cannot do. It's not possible.
Yes. So you can ask a question.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you emphasized the importance of having a guru, and you said even Krishna mentioned it 3 times. So, and you gave the analogy of the guru having a big ship, and that would tie our little boat to the guru's ship. But how do you know that the guru has a big ship big enough to cross the ocean?
How do you know?
How do you know which guru has a ship big enough?
Srila Prabhupada having.
Yeah. Sorry?
And what is your Srila Prabhupada having?
Srila Prabhupada has, but
Srila Prabhupada,
but I'm talking about a guru who's with us in the material world now.
Okay, fine. Now, in ISKCON, we accept Srila Prabhupada as the eminent Siksha Guru. Our whole teachings is based on Srila Prabhupada's books, Bhakti Siddhanta. And Srila Prabhupada gave his commentary from all Vaishnavacharya. He was telling me Ramanujacharya, Madhavacharya, Sridhar Swami, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Charidas, Vishnu, all Vaishnavacharya, everything he gave. The best commentary, what he can present. And what Srila Prabhupada told, when someone said, what will happen to your movement when you die? What Srila Prabhupada told, he said, I will never die. I live in my books. So one is that Srila Prabhupada books, Srila Prabhupada teaching. And the Vaishnavas, who we are to judge that only Srila Prabhupada, certainly Srila Prabhupada is a great Acharya. Not everybody can be like him, a great Acharya, but certainly other many leaders that are doing excellent. Service. I'm in this moment from a young age. When ISKCON started in Mayapur, 72. From that time I'm coming to ISKCON. What I saw, ISKCON is very small. Now it's very. A few years back I had a long talk with Samsundar Guru at the long association in Punjab, Delhi. The way Srila Prabhupada left this movement, all over young, they were just, they became Guru at the age of 28, 29, 30. Only Chaitanya Maharaj was also 32. All over 29, 28. I said from that situation, today ISKCON is spreading so nicely. And in India, ISKCON having more than 400 properties. It's booming, it's preaching. Here also I see a lot of property. Yesterday I went to Leicester. So the preaching is going certainly.
I would interpret it like this.
It's not that there is one boat of Prabhupada, then there is one boat of this Guru Maharaj, that Guru Maharaj. Actually, it's only one boat, and Prabhupada is the one who is the captain of the boat. And what gurus that we are talking about are like, if you've been to Mayapur, when you actually get into the boat, there is this bank and there is the boat, and in between there is a plank. And then there's a boatman, who holds your hand and helps you get in the boat. I think that's what the role of gurus are. So by themselves, we can't say that they are the big ships and we are the small ships holding them. The only one big ship is Srila Prabhupada. And all these who are connecting us to Prabhupada, this is holding our hand and putting us into Prabhupada's boat, holding our hand and putting us into Prabhupada. So that's what is their role. And sometimes that role is, he's asking another person to help him, then he's asking another person. What we're basically doing is like a human chain, we're helping each other. So in this whole helping chain, there is Siksha Guru and then there is Diksha Gurus also. So there is somebody out there, we are on the bank and come on, give me your hand. And then I give my hand to her and then she gives her hand to him, and that's how we're all getting inside Prabhupada's boat would be my interpretation on this. It's like, we don't have to worry about how many. You have a continuing question to that?
No, I've recognized Prabhupada, you've got a big ship, but he can accommodate all of us, but it's just a question of the Guru, sort of, you explain the Guru is helping you to get on board Prabhupada's ship.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's what they say, that is our stand actually. It's called official stand. That all are trying to help to come to Srila Prabhupada.
There's a question online related to this, so I'll ask this first. What does initiation mean? Someone's asking, what does that mean?
Yeah, so the initiation is Diksha. So Diksha is Iksha. Iksha is giving us a spiritual vision. So initiation means is that you get spiritual knowledge, or rather you get spectacles to see the things in the right perspective. That is what is initiation all about. Connecting to the Guru Parampara, or rather getting us admitted into the university so that we can pursue the course further and finish our degree and get qualified.
Basically, in different Puranas, Krishna told very clearly. Krishna told to Arjuna also, those who say they are my devotee, they are not my devotee. Those who are devotee of my devotee, they are not devotee. The quotes are there in Bhakti Shamana Sindhu, Rupa Goswami quote. So when we accept the Vaishnavas, like many they say, no, actually Prabhupada would have been there, maybe I would have taken Diksha. But Prabhupada is not there, so I don't want to take. See. And believe me, in front, I saw Prabhupada, I didn't do Diksha, I was too young. But it's not a question, it's a Guru Parampara. So, what I was telling you just.
It's the meaning of Diksha.
So, if it's connected, Narottam Das Thakur says, because you accept, and the Gyan, spiritual knowledge comes more, you are connected. It's actually Prabhupada told very nice, very simple word, that you keep a post box, or a post box is recognized by the post office. So, Guru Parampara means they recognize. But certainly, our scriptures, Bhagavatam says, pure devotee. But that's Prabhu is telling, how to know. So, if we are in the association of devotees, then we can understand their good qualities. But sometimes it takes a lot of time to research. But so they're doing wonders.
My take on this, Prabhu just made the last comment, pure devotee. We know for sure Prabhupada is a pure devotee, and what Prabhupada has taught is 100% perfect. But probably all of us are not that perfect. But the fact what Prabhupada said is perfect, and that perfect thing we are saying, that makes it perfect. But that doesn't make us perfect. We may have our own weaknesses, so maybe we may not be perfect. But that what we are giving is perfect, because that's given by the perfect person.
No, another thing is that look at, see, there's many ways of looking at it. One is that great, that's the Simha Guru, like many, or even Gaudiya Math Sannyasi, there are many gurus are there. But even they said Prabhupada is like a Simha Guru. Not every time such a great Guru comes. What you are thinking Prabhupada, you see, more days goes more. Believe me, 40 years back also, 45 years back, nobody was bothered about ISKCON, I'm telling you frankly. They were thinking wrong way. In India, there's a lot of wrong publicity. But now you see the prominence of ISKCON here and everywhere. So, more the days pass, the glories will be higher. But not everybody can match with Prabhupada. So, devotee also, the difference is there. But that doesn't mean the others are not a pure devotee. But not like a great Acharya. He's Acharya. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur is Acharya. Srila Prabhupada is like Acharya. See, Acharya is very big. And such type of devotee is rare in this world. All are devotee. Everybody is devotee. Who is not devotee? Hanuman is also devotee. Garuda is also devotees. We are also devotee. But we cannot be like Hanuman and Garuda. Or Sananda, Sananda, right? Different type of devotees. Gopis are also devotees. You cannot say Brahma who disturbed, he's also devotee. He's not, you cannot say. Everybody having their own role. So we cannot compare, but at the same time we cannot also discriminate. They have their policy. I'm very proud to say, like His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, I'm seeing him from beginning to end. So, but the way he did, whatever he did it, humble way, like His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, he's trying his best, whatever the capacity is. I'm giving few. His Holiness Gopal Swami, you work with him for a long time as a president. I see his sacrifice. His health is not good. Still comes to the Mangaladeva. Believe me, he doesn't, he fell out, right? But he can go. Sometimes I see no rest, nothing. Same with Vijayapadaman. I have seen. I saw Tamakras Maharaj. I was his secretary for. He'll get up at 2:30 and first thing he'll be chanting, finish up. Just press up and chant. That's proper too. I have seen their commitment. How much they're committed. So they're blessed. They did. Anybody who did something for Guru Krishna, they're not right. Without Krishna's Shakti, we cannot do Krishna's preaching. So some Shakti is there.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji, for such a wonderful class, and the questions to follow along with that as well. What we'll do is, because it's a Purushottam month, so what we'll do is we will going to offer the lamps to the Lord. In the meantime, we'll have the Kirtan as well going in. So we will sing the Charashtakam. Mataji, you can do that. And we will do the Charashtakam, and at the same time we'll do the offering of the lamps as well. So what we'll do is we'll go from this side, and we'll go move from there, and we'll do the Charashtakam, and then we'll have a bit of a Kirtan, and then hopefully we'll finish the program.
I want to say something. We've been doing this Chauragya Purushashtakam for
a long time now for Purushottam month. But this time, before the Purushottam month started, 2 days before the Purushottam month started, Guru Maharaj sent me a letter saying that you are making them do Chauragya Purushashtakam, but Chauragya Purushashtakam has Radharani's his name only one time. So why aren't you making them do Yugalashtakam, which is by Jiva Goswami, and that has Radharani's his name every line. And I wrote back to him, yes, Guru Maharaj, from this Purushottam month, I won't remove Chauragya Purushashtakam, but I'll add Jiva Goswami's Yugalashtakam. So I don't know if you have got that message here or not about Yugalashtakam. Guru Maharaj pressing on that. But it's a very simple one. I can sing it for all of you while you do the offering, and the lines are so simple that you'll be able to repeat it. So we can do Chauragya and Yugalashtakam. It will take maybe 3 more minutes to do that. Is it okay? Would you all like to do the Yugalashtakam by Jiva Goswami? Yeah, we can do that. And that is there in your phones. You just go kksongs.org and go Yugalashtakam, you will get it. So I can sing that. Meanwhile, the devotees can start offering lamp and then again going back and sit, and then we can close the program. It's okay?
Prabhuji, Nityacharan Prabhu, who's like he's a god brother, like he's a godfather basically for us, because he's got all of us into Krishna consciousness away. So we just want to say a few words for both of you.
Hare Krishna. I'm very pleased to say a few words about our 2 special guests from South India. It is the first time they found me in Birmingham, although I am in Birmingham for a very long time. So, I'd like to say about Her Mataji. She born in Bombay in Gujarati business family, and later she, with her family, shifted to Hyderabad in 1984. She born in 1976. Since then, she was closely connected with Sikandarabad, the ISKCON Sikandarabad temples. And then he joined in full-time ISKCON devotee in 1997. And she took initiation in 1998 in Atlanta, USA. She just jumped in Atlanta from his original job for Kamal. And She took graduation in commerce, the master degree in education with a PG diploma in management of voluntary organization. Presently, she is the principal of ISKCON's Divine Touch School, actively involved in collection, festival coordination, congregation pitching, college pitching, and shouldering management responsibility with her husband, His Grace Shamba Prabhu. Shamba Prabhu also had joined ISKCON in 1976 and took initiations in 1980 from His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. He was very actively working in ISKCON in India. He opened so many ISKCON temples in India. And also he constructed so many temples in India. He was very active. He also helped in this Vrindavan Samadhi, Prabhupada Samadhi. He also helped to constructing these. Also in Mayapur Pushpa Samadhi, he also helped. Her Grace Mataji and His Grace Shamba Prabhu are great inspirations to all of us by their wonderful mood of teaching and serving Srila Guru Maharaj in most wonderful way to please him and also Srila Prabhupada. They have their followers worldwide and inspiring devotees of all over the world by different social media platforms as well. They are leading the great project of ISKCON Visakhapatnam in South India. I personally visited so many times there in Visakhapatnam, so many times. Her Grace Mataji speaks in 5 or 6 languages. I don't know, I know 5 or 6 languages. Or more, I don't know, but I heard all here. But she learned Bengali from her Bengali husband. Shamba Prabhu is Bengali. Hers, you don't know. So nicely. Even being a Bengali, I can't speak like this. So, one thing I like to request all of you, please raise your hands, both hands, and chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to greet them. Big loudly.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I also want to extend an invitation from ISKCON Visakhapatnam to all of you. Whenever you are visiting next to India, you must come to Visakhapatnam. Visakhapatnam temple is coming, it's not completed, maybe it will take 1 more year, 1.5 years. But it's a huge temple, it's a beautiful location, just in the bank of ocean, having a prime land, 3.5 acres land, a huge temple, big guest house. Guest house, many rooms are completed. About 50, 60 rooms are completed already. And temple, 80% is done, but a lot of delicate work, artist work is left over, so it's taking time. So it's beautiful location, beautiful place. Climate is good. next to the ocean, and backside there's a hillock. So it's a very scenic land. So, and Srila Prabhupada came there, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati came there, Bhakti Thakur, Narottam Das came. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, all the Acharya came there. So it's very, and it says, Thalapurana says, Nishingadev disappeared there. And Prahlad Maharaj retired in that hill, giving his kingdom to Virachal. It's a very ancient place. And there's a, nearby there's another place called Sikurmam, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started his South Indian Jatra. And he told that famous slok, Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna Pradesh, Amara Gyai Guru Hayata Havidesh. So you must come, have a look, have a lesson. Then we have a small farm also there. So it's a scenic location, beautiful. And there's a hill station also there. So you can enjoy there. And a lot of ancient temples are there.
Kurma temple.
Sri Kurmam temple, Kunti Madhav. Panchapanda were there. They built few temples, ancient temple. That's also there. So we want to extend our invitation to all of you. Come whenever you are coming. There are many there coming on there. So we want you should also come. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. So we will do the Chauragya Purushashtakam and we will also do the Yugalashtakam. You can open it in your phone, kksongs.net. Krishna